Hello, it's Erica of Erba Arts, and it's Sunday demo, but on Monday. I had my guild sale and open house yesterday, and so we are doing the demo on Monday instead of Sunday. So you can see I'm sort of digging into totes behind me, desperately trying to make more bats. I didn't get as many made this morning as I wanted. Gonna sort of probably make them until I lose the light tonight. But however, there will be a squishy mail. Actually, I was going to do squishy mail on Saturday, but I was tired and fell asleep on the sofa, so I didn't get to do my Saturday squishy mail. So there's actually more squishy mail now. Hello, Donna. So this evening I will do the squishy mail, so look for that. And let's see. So today we're going to do some fun stuff. I think this is going to be a blended bat. Okay. So I have this braid that I got from Penny. It's 70% Romney, 30% Angora. I'm assuming the Angora is in there. I don't feel it. It feels very Romney-like, but we'll see what happens when I start pulling it apart. Okay. So it's sort of this, she's calling it a rose mauve. That's what the color is. Okay. And then I thought I'm going to take it towards brown. Okay. Because I got this bag yesterday from Ellen of Fiber Curios and Sundries. She's a member of my guild. Okay. Hello. And she made some roving. She collects her fleeces and stuff like that, and she sends stuff off to a mill in, I think, North Dakota, the one in Nome. And she, she might do Romney something and silk and whatever. But she tried making a mostly vegan bat. Now, it had some wool in it, because otherwise it would just fall apart. And so, I believe it was Romney, linen, and hemp. Okay. So it's like about 33% of each of those ingredients. Okay. Though she said there may be some bio-nylon in here too. This is essentially the waste, the carding waste from making that roving. And she's like, I got a ton of it. Do you want to play with it? And so we're going to be playing with that today. So this is, you can see all that fiber in there, right? So I'm assuming the gold is the wool and everything else is the linen, hemp, stuff like that. Okay. So there's some brown bits, there's some orangey bits. So it's going to be very autumnal. Okay. So we're going to use that to play up the brown. If you look at what I wrote for the description, hello Amy, hello Barbara. This is some mohair that I got from Bryce at Spinaway Farm. It was one of those, I got one of his dyer's pick things. And so there was this braid of mohair. I'm going to pull out sort of the autumnal, not the purples, but the autumnal colors, and add that in for some texture. The texture, I think, is going to mirror the linen and flax and all of that. And then for some more brown, I've got some sort of cream of that. That stuff I already pulled off. I've got some bio-nylon, no, this is bamboo actually, in Jolly Rancher. So this nice sort of, nice brown. And possibly, I'll have to see how it feels, but I might do some of that bleached tuss of silk as well, because it's in that sort of, light oatmeal-y family. Okay, so that's the plan. I'm going to get you, but I think this is going to need to be blended. Okay, I think that those fibers, the plant fibers, are going to need to be distributed better than just the streakiness that I tend to do. Those work okay for things like silk and bamboo, but I think the linen and hemp is going to need to be a bit more incorporated. Okay, so I'm going to try and move you. I was like 30 seconds late starting because I started to move the thing, and the gooseneck just went. So I have to see if I can do this without hurting anybody. Okay, there we go. And then we'll get you tilted a little bit like, oh, nope, you're twisting it. You're going to lose it again. Okay, let's see if I'm going to balance it before I tighten it. How about that? Let's see how that works. Oh, no. So, okay, I'm going to try and pull you back a little bit further. This clamp may be at the end of its life. Okay, sorry if I made anybody seasick. Let's see if if that will hold. It might be too sharp of an angle. Hi, Jean. Okay, so I'll try and keep an eye on it to make sure you guys don't go that way, because I think that's probably where you're listing, but we'll see. Okay, yeah, I was very disappointed today, so I got the new panels out, as you saw in my photograph, and I have them downstairs. I have half in the basement already. I guess I have to start it from the other end. I think I'm only going to be able to fit 5 in at this time, which will be sort of where all the tables were. I had wanted to do, ideally I'd wanted to do 7, so I could have like a little L sort of in front of the dressing room, and then on sort of the side of that side of my booth there. And then I could have, pens, clothes off of it and stuff like that. Oh yeah, I forgot. Okay. Penny like literally braids them. She doesn't do the crochet loopy thing. So it takes me a little bit of time to untangle these. Anyway, so I think at this time there's just not enough room in Esmeralda. So we will see. I'm gonna all of my stuff is still at my guild. We were just all so tired on Sunday. We were like, everybody's like, except for Ellen who cleaned her stuff up. All of us are just like, yeah, let's just leave it for later this week. I'm going to go down tomorrow in the afternoon and dye the few things that haven't been dyed yet, to take them with me to Michigan, and then I'll wash them out on Wednesday. And then it's a matter of working on making more bats, and washing the yarn that I have. I was supposed to start washing the yarn this morning. It didn't happen. And in fact, I think I'm going to do, because I wash the yarn and dry it, or I also dry my laundry, I think I just need to do laundry after I get off this video. Okay, we'll start with this and see what happens. So anyways, one of the things I was going to do is start, planning the layout, what I thought might go where, and today I was supposed to take delivery of some shelves that I got to use on the panels, and I got an email saying delivery had been attempted. I had been home. Okay. Clearly they had driven by and just decided, we don't want to stop. We attempted. So I'm a little sort of like, come on, I wanted that. I wanted that to be able to see how those were going to work. So hopefully tomorrow UPS will come and bring that. So again, I'm not going to go dye until UPS actually delivers the items. So I got some shelves, I got some baskets. I got the sort of the boot clip things for scarves. And then today I ordered, and I think they're supposed to be here maybe Wednesday, some little, so some little sort of, like they hook on the grid wall, but they're like a clip, so you can put a little sign there. And so I'm going to get some things probably tonight. I'll type them up and send them to the printer and have them printed on cardstock. Okay, so now it's time to add the stuff. And I think what I'm just going to do is just grab a bit like this. Okay? And I think this is going to want to be painted on. I think that's just going to work out the best. So we'll see if we can do this slowly. Maybe a case of a little goes a long way. I have spun some of the bats. I think one of the bats or roll eggs that Yarn Travel does that has the linen in it. So this will very clearly be a textured bat. I like the way the color looks. So let's add, pull some of the mohair up. Okay. First little, and I'm going to treat the mohair like an add-in as well. Oh, sorry, that's really bleached out there. Also sort of paint that on. So we got sheep, we got bunny, we got goat. And we got plants. And one of the reasons I want to blend it is so we don't, so essentially the layers of wool don't sort of slip apart. So let's do a little bit of the silk too. Sorry. It needs to be cleaned again or readjusted. So, but I don't think so I did all these orders of things, and the clips, and I don't think the baskets that I ordered are going to come before I leave. We'll see. I also this morning ordered, and this should be here in time, a new what I call command center. I like to have this one central bag, and I've been using sort of one of the smaller, the Rainbow IKEA bags, but one of the smaller ones. I've been using that, that's where, the card reader goes, and all the clips I need, and the painter's tape, because you always should pack painter's tape, because you will need it for something. Scotch tape in case you need it, extra pens, all that kind of stuff, right? The calculator, all that kind of stuff. And that bag has gotten really sort of overfull and out of control. And I wanted something a little more organized and structural. So I ordered a craft bag. Excuse me. And Everything Mary or something like that, I think might have been the brand. I got it on Amazon, but it's a rolling bag, so I don't have to worry about slinging it over my shoulder. And it has, it opens across the top so I can flip it up. And sort of keep it open and grab things inside if I need to. It's something I can tuck behind my checkout booth, and have everything accessible there. Because I also want to be able to put in the light for the dressing room, right, and the fan for the dressing room, and their charging cords, and because at one point I was carrying those in the bags that I had the stitch markers in, and it's they're no relation to each other. But I'm hoping that'll help me stay more organized. Probably won't, because I'm not all that organized, but it's an attempt. So, thank you. Yeah, so I obviously just a little bit goes a long way with this. So it may end up looking a little like sari silk, maybe. So I'm hoping tomorrow to be able to start practicing some layouts. There's more of the mohair again. Jolly Rancher on. So let's do some of that bamboo. I'll pick up the browns. I like how it's a slightly different shade than that mohair. And I see it clumped right there. So let's go back here. So if you are going to be at Fiber Expo and you're thinking about bats, drop a comment with what colors you're interested in. And that will help me maybe pick what combos I want to make. I just did sort of a navy and it wasn't a red, it was like a burgundy. Called it Flag Day because it also has a little bits of pink in it. I used a little bit of this with the sari silk. And so they'll get these little like white flecks like stars. So I call it Flag Day. Okay, let's see. Where's the end? Actually, you know what? I'm going to try this. Let's see if this works. This may not work because this is braided, but let me see if I can do this. Of course, it's Romney, so it has a long staple, but... Okay, so let's see if it works better if I go this direction. Yes, it does. Ha! Ha! I mean, it's so fuzzy that it doesn't pull apart, but... There we go. Much easier. Here's the crochet loops. It's just at the wrong end. So, and I want to make some more. I think I still have some sugar skulls. I want to make some more earrings and pins with the sugar skulls. So I have some Halloween themed items. What's also very exciting is my friend Charlotte, who lives in Ann Arbor. We went to college together. I actually was her intern at the college radio station. If you wanted to be a DJ, you had to spend a semester working with an established DJ. And she had like the 6 o'clock in the morning show. And sometimes she would come in and she would have like this giant bag filled with 45s. Those of you who are young might not know what those are. Those are small records that just had a song on each side. And it was just sort of random stuff she collected. And she would we would have this thing where we would just sort of reach in and grab something, and whatever we grabbed, that's what we were going to play. A lot of fun. Okay, let's do mohair first, and then we'll go with the plant. So she lives in Ann Arbor, and she and her husband and one of her children are going to meet me when I get there with a hand truck. Because I never have room to pack any kind of dolly or anything in Esmeralda, because product is more important. And so this is probably going to be the fastest setup, even with all the new things that I've ever had. So I'm very excited about that. For those of you joining late, what this is carding waste from Ellen's Cornbut Fiber Curios and Sundry. She made a mostly vegan roving. Sort of had it sent off to the mill. Of course, it has wool in it, so it's not technically vegan because it's like 30% Romney, 30% flax, 30% hemp. And the finished product is called Bringing in the Sheaves, and I actually got a couple ounces of that. I bought it this weekend to just try spinning it. But this was all the sort of, she gets sent back all the waste product from anything she sends to the mill. And so she's been thinking, I got to incorporate it into things, and what can I use it for? Might use it in felting. But she's like, I bet Erica would like to play with it with bats. So she gave me a bag to try out, and if I like it, I'll buy some from her. But she gave me a big bag, so. Okay, so we did that. Hang on, we can't put that on yet. We've got that. We need the bamboo. You know, if I miss an ingredient on one layer, I'm not too worried about it. Okay, that looked a little clumpy right there. And then we'll put the silk on. We had, I mean, I don't know what the numbers were like, but you know, it was a little slow at times, but a lot of people bought things, not just me. So I think it was a good event. Fluffing this, I'll come over and see if there's any more comments. Hello, Beverly. So I need to sit down like the next day or two, and I know I lose an hour going to Michigan. I've been told there's a lot of construction on 94. I'm gonna go the way without tolls. So I think there's like a trick where you get off 80, 90 and drop down to something else so you don't have to pay that toll. It used to be that it was more tolls coming west than it was going east. It's been so long since I've driven that way. But I think it said it was maybe 8 hours. I get confused because I was also looking like how long does it take to summer? Does it take to get to Michigan Fiber Festival and so forth? Yeah, but I'm fortunately, move-in is a pretty long period of time. It's like noon to 8. Obviously, I don't want to be there at 8. Also, since my friends are going to take me out to dinner. But I think this is all sort of very loose. Yeah, I think I'm going to try and leave between 4 and 5 in the morning. Of course, I should probably figure out what time that puts me in Chicago. Like, is it going to be Chicago rush hour? I can never remember how long it takes to get to Chicago. Some of it's already transferring over here. Definitely want to press that down because obviously that plant material has absolutely no grab at all. Okay, let's see what we got for mohair. Use this bit right here. Yeah, so my priorities are making mats, washing yarn, and dyeing up the last of the items to be dyed. I'm also tonight going to put in the next Dharma order. The timing between coming back from Michigan, I'll come back, sometime next Monday. There's no demo next week, by the way, because Sunday I will be in at the show, and Monday I'll be driving back. And then on Thursday I have to turn around and drive to Missouri. So there's not going to be a demo that week. There's this, like, I don't know if you can see, there's this piece of hemp or something that's sticking out. Bigger comments, let's see if I can see. It takes forever. There's so much construction, yeah. So maybe I need to leave earlier than... Because it's going to take me, let's see. It takes me an hour and a half to get to Iowa City. which is where I-80 is. And then, let's break this end open. And then from there, it's another hour to the Quad Cities. And then, Beverly, do you know how long it takes to drive from like the Quad Cities to Chicago? Do you have any idea? Okay, the sun's not coming out either. Other than forever. I mean, you can't avoid Chicago. That's the problem. Those stupid lakes get in the way. And then I was told by several people that, 94's got a bunch of construction on it, which is the one you take across Michigan. I think this might be the last load. I think these sort of light chocolate stripes might be the Angora, because this is 30% Angora according to the label. Okay, so let's put a little bit of this. Oh, not that much. No, we'll put it back if we don't use it. Now I am gonna blend this, so I don't have to really care about what the outside looks like. Let's see if I can randomly open up this braid and pull out some of this mohair. The staple's really long though. Let's see if I can do it this way. I want the brownish bits. Okay, there we go. I mean, I know on the train it takes, well, let's see. The train from Ottumwa goes, it's 4 hours from Ottumwa to Chicago. Not Ottumwa, Mount Pleasant, which is directly south of me. So that makes it so it's about maybe it's 3 hours, maybe to Chicago. That western part of the state, though, you're like, is it over yet? Is it over yet? Okay, this has just got mohair everywhere. So I am going to pull some of this off. Now what I could do is actually, I mean, you can just do that and then press it down. Let's go with the bamboo and the silk. I haven't done a blended bat in a while, certainly not on camera. Okay, so this is what you do for a blended bat. First I'm going to put this away because with the tag, so we know what it is. And if I like it, I'll make a second one of these. London Bath, just, I always charge a little bit more for them because they take longer to make. If you have a 5:30 rush hour, yeah, I mean, my guess is I'm not going to be, I mean, I will be in Michigan. I hope to be in Ann Arbor. But yeah, I'd like to get there between 2 or 3, maybe. I just need to do the math to figure out what time I have to leave to get there. Okay, so this is feeling a little thin, so it might be a lighter bat. We'll see. I mean, noticing that that plant material has a really long staple. Takes a little tugging. Also looks like the Romney is really sticking to the carding cloth. Okay, so we got that. I'm definitely going to have to use this. So I'm going to press back down in between here, just to make it easier to get off the drum. Okay. I can already see there's spots here that I'm going to have to encourage to get off. Feels nice and light and fluffy though. Yeah, it does feel a bit thin though. I mean, not like merino thin, merino top thin, but okay, it's leaving a little bit on there, but not too much. Okay, and we did get, there's definitely some combing action. Can you see here? Okay. So I'm just going to sort of, a lot of that's the, looks like the mohair. Okay, so this is what it looks like. Okay, you know, which is really nice. But I think for this, I really want this stuff blended in a bit more. Okay, so this is actually going to require me to step off camera. But what I'm going to do is put it down on my normal fluffing towel and sort of grab probably this end because this is where the long wispy bits are, okay, and pull strips off, okay, almost like I was going to spin it, but I'm not. I'm just going to blend it again. It does have some nice loft to it. Okay, so here's our first strip. Okay. And what I always like to do is, like I do with the roving, fluff it out a bit. I want it to be roughly the length. It doesn't have to be exactly 8 inches, but you know, this end down here is going to be a bit thinner. I'm going to go like this. Now, this is the thing that I always, since I've got these, like, all this stuff sitting on top, right? And obviously in between. But sometimes what I do is I actually flip it over so that this was the outside when I first carded it. This is the fiber that I first put on. And what this is going to do is hopefully prevent all that loose, somewhat loose stuff on there from getting caught on the liquor in. Excuse me. I think there's another one coming. Okay, so we're still going to get some streaks, but they're going to be less prominent. Okay. Gonna grab some more. And my thought on how much to grab is less is better. Less is more. some people try and jam like the whole thing back in, and what often will happen is it'll get knotted up and you'll get fiber jammed up in between the liquor in and the drum, and it can just be problematic. So, and if it doesn't fill the whole thing, you can always come back later. Like over here, there's a little less, so maybe I'll line this one up a little more on this side. That mohair is a little bit of a problem. Yeah, I'm not having trouble with the linen and the hemp, it's the mohair. So this is also, when you spin it, going to give you a more consistent distribution of the materials. This also needs a name. Just for fun, I'm going to put this one face up so we can see how some of the fibers react. Not too bad. That piece of silk sort of went through there. But the brown, you lose a lot of the brown, right? The silk stays pretty much sort of intact, but you do lose some of the brown that we had earlier. Okay, this is slightly thicker, but let's see what happens. Yep, this one's starting to. Are we starting to guess weights already? Okay. Yeah, I didn't weigh it in between. I could have, but that would have killed the suspense. Okay, I'm going to go back to putting the toppings underneath. I think I'll go fluff this way though. But by blending, it also ensures that when you're spinning, you suddenly don't hit this slick spot that's like all mohair and bamboo. Sometimes that's fun, but not for everybody. Now I'm going to start making thinner strips because the drum is starting to get full. Let's see how that's. Of course, there's more in the middle. Yeah, so drop your name suggestions. Okay, we got 2 more strips to get through. Let's see. of fuzz starting there. Okay, and then I'll just put the other piece over here. Try and get this one fairly thin. Now that Romney Angora really puffs up. Okay, that is done. Looks very different from the other one, doesn't it? From what the original looks like. Okay. Pink champagne. It's more red though. It's more like pomegranate or like an apple compote type thing. I've used apple compote before though. It's much too dark to be pink champagne, unfortunately. Good idea, because I do have some pink, at least one more pink bat planned, so I might save that one for that. Okay. Now you can see there still are some streaks, but if you look sort of in here, everything's much more incorporated. I'm still going to press things down here. Okay. And then we'll pull off. It's very fluffy. Very fluffy. Yeah, I'm going to have to clean the garter. And the drum is very, that mohair particularly. Okay, I've seen people have guessed a lot of different weights, so. The one I made before this was just over 3 ounces. It was a Rambouillet, Falkland, Corriedale. Okay, once again, more combing action. Okay, so this is now what it looks like. Okay, so much more blended. So I'm going to step aside and fluff. And they're really, it's harder to tell front and back at this point because they're very similar. So what I'll probably do is once I've fluffed, I'll look at either side and see which side I like as an outside. And I think it's actually going to be the bottom. What we put on first. Mainly because when we put it through that first batch, remember I put the silk and all that facing downward. So that means that's on the bottom. Okay, this is very, very fluffy. It is hard to fold in thirds. Hopefully this will... I can't let go of it. Let me put it that way. Okay, it's very fuzzy. And some of that is the mohair, some of that is the plant fibers. And some might be the Romney too. It's hard to tell. I do have little sort of things flying in, wisps. Does it need to be an iced something or other? Iced raspberries? Because it's got that brown on it. I'm not sure I'd want my raspberries to be that color. Okay, I'm just double checking. Oh, because I forgot to tear it out. I was like, I don't think that's 3 ounces. The tear didn't take. Okay, we have a weight. We'll stop fluctuating. We'll get the pen. And a piece of paper. 2.44 is our weight. Yeah. So, I think for some bats, this, plant fiber combo is going to work. Most definitely. So, oh, Emmy, you got it. Okay, 2.4. We'll see how close the goes. Raspberry essence. Okay, that might work. Autumn blush. Ooh, that's also a nice one. Okay, 2.7, 2.6. I'll have to read through and see. I can't always see the comments. They sort of bounce around on me. So if you're someone who does the Zoom Wafa spin along, Lizette is doing it this Thursday. We're still not sure who's doing it the next week. I will, since I will be traveling, I won't be doing any of the Zooms for about a week and a half. So, otherwise, I'll take some photos of this, post them up, and we'll decide on a name. I'll read through the comments, and thank you so much for coming and watching. It takes a little bit to make one, but I think I'll make a second one. Okay? Otherwise, I have Romney left, so might as well. Okay. Otherwise, I wish you all a very pleasant day. For those of you also in the Midwest, hopefully it cools down soon. I think today's only in the 80s. It's not in the 90s, so we're happy about that. Okay, I'm gonna go play with fiber. See you around on Facebook.